Nigerian people, Africans, my friends, subscribers, welcome. Thank you so much for your subscriptions. Thank you for stopping by on this station. And thank you, most importantly, for your comments, your engagement, your likes. We do appreciate it. And we see you. You're the one that makes us do what we do. And you're the reason we always stand on our camera on a daily just to talk about the issues of Nigeria. I talk about the government. I talk about what we expect of them. I am passionate about a Nigeria that will work, because we know that when Nigeria works, Africa will work. A few days ago, I brought you some tatafos, which I call some political gossips. And I started doing that in our Nigerian mannerism because I want to bring the message home to you. And in today's episode of what I will call my advocacy, I'm going to bring you up to speed with certain things. First on my list is Labour Party and Julius Abure. Guys, desperation don't they take Abure enter self-destruct. In fact, you know, as we love Peter Obi rich, we can't extend that love, give Labour Party. The picking where you love, even when they misbehave. Not that you don't discipline them, you discipline them, but you apply it with a lot of love. And then sometimes you buy them excuses, sometimes you look away on some of the things they do, sometimes you show them the hard love. We've done all that to Labour Party. Another thing is that we never knew the rots in Labour Party up until now, because we showed them the love we showed the man we see at the moment as ready to begin to navigate the course of Nigeria. There are many young people who I believe can do the same job, but the way Nigerian politics works is such that most of them might not be a better match at the moment. Maybe with time, they will come into governance. Timing is very important in everything we do. You can be right, you can be good, but timing can make everything bad. So when people talk about some youthful heads and leadership, I believe them and I know. But in the transition of a Nigeria that has moved from the regular political class and in a phase where it is trying to shift to the next generation, and what it is, Obi is that divider, that's cartilage joining the two segments. He is going to cause old segment to phase out and then introduce the new segment. I am very passionate about seeing this man become the president of Nigeria because he is ready for the job. He is competent. He has a track record. He is determined. He is made. He is not being pushed by anyone. He is not desperate like those that will grab power. It's the moment that Nigeria is in that phase. So back to my tatafo. This Labour Party that we have shown our love because of Peter Obi, we never knew that there were so much rot in it. Even when we saw these things creeping up, raising their ugly head, we were patching it, buying them excuses, forgiving them, hoping for the best. But the way it is now, Abure has fully come up to show who he is. But in case he's watching, and in case you can send him this message, tell him that he is on a roller coaster of self-destruct. This man that we thought had the good of Nigeria at heart, that we thought was on a mission, a rescue mission, we thought understood the moment, the man that we thought was as passionate as we are, we never knew that he is that caterpillar burrowing. But you know, as it is, a leopard does not change its spots. They will always show who they are. They say, bait a pig, comb a pig, adorn him with the latest ointments, he will go back to the pits. That is the kind of behavior Abure is putting up. Who would have thought that Abure would connive with our papa? These people that obviously were moles in Labour Party or are still moles in Labour Party. Oh my God. Who would have thought that this man we thought was honorable would descend so low to sing their song? In one of my videos, I extended the olive branch to Abure, where I said that it is not too late to do the right things. You know, one thing, I talk about the human nature and its tendency to switch, to lose it, especially when they come close to power and when they see money. But I also believe that there is that ability to come back. I also believe that when they do, people should cut them some slack. Abure, no reason I'm saying what is ahead is much more honorable than transient gains, than what he stands to get at the moment. Abure never thought it wise that it would be honorable to be mentioned among those that worked to bet the new Nigeria we all yearn for. He sold everything on the platter of porridge. You know how they talk to Abure there on self-destruct? Now people, they give power. Now people, they still collect power. The relevance he feels he has now was given to him by the people who supported the party, who supported the Labour Party. And the moment they take that relevance, he will be a lone ranger. Where I see Abure moving to is moving to the full-fledged APC kind of games or politics or lifestyle. You know, I watched Obi's interview on News Central when he said that 95% of politicians are the same, with just an exceptional 5%. Now it begins to make me realize that Abure has been that person who has been among this 95% in their conventional kind of politics, where he wants Labour Party to just be that mechanism by which people who lost election in other places will just come and be paying homage, to be that mechanism to which politicians come to pay homage, like they come bring money, we share, like a money making machine, and not an avenue, not a platform to create a working country. It didn't take long for it to show, because the quality of the material he has been tested by fire, and it didn't stand the test of time. Thank God it's happening at a time like this. Abure is summing up Peter Obi, the same guy that stood side by side with him, plotting and planning on how our country would be better. This guy thought that he had somebody to trust. He never knew that that was a Judas. But you know one thing? The fall of Judas was foretold. He had the opportunity to take it back. You know one thing? When some things are foretold, when God reveals a thing, when people are privileged to see what will become of them, it's an opportunity to tow a different path. It's an opportunity to begin to ask for help when they need help, to be able to call themselves back, even if they are not able to do that ordinarily. But you see an adamant fellow who is bent on being destroyed. He is summing up Peter Obi, Aisha Yusufu, and every person that has longed for a working Nigeria and calling them the bad eggs, calling for their probe, their arrest, and all sorts. Who had thought that Abure will open his mouth and call for the arrest or probe of Peter Obi? This is the height of it. You know, that love we showed him, I don't want to call it the Labour Party, because Labour Party is big. It's big. If you don't see what I see about the Labour Party, begin to see it now. It's big. So Abure is not Labour Party. Arabambi is not Labour Party. Apapa is not Labour Party. All the unscrupulous elements with them that are just after peanuts, pocket money, things they will share and go home and come back to share again, they are not Labour Party. Labour Party has a frame that you can build greatness on. So the few people who are trying to wither it are little. So I'm not going to call it a Labour Party issue, even though they have this deep-rooted rot that may have been entrenched by people like these fellows I'm talking about. It is my desire that with the few steps they have taken, they'll begin to rebuild. The obedience are not party men and women. They are well-meaning Nigerians. They cut across all divides. And if they fix their house, they will everly get the support of the obedient movement. But if they don't, the obedient movement will find a way around it. I've heard rumors of merger with PDP and other parties. Well, if you ask me, I don't think it's necessary. With the present PDP we have, a PDP chieftain, Dan Olasi, was saying that PDP is almost dead and they will need a merger from Labour Party and other parties to live again. They can as well die off. We want them off because these parties don't represent what we want to identify with. Peter Obi won the election without PDP. So what makes them feel like he cannot win the election? I heard the man saying that the way Labour Party is now, they cannot win an election is a blatant lie. If there is room for independent candidacy, Peter Obi will win the elections. He is not in government and he's doing what the government should be doing. It comes naturally. When you see people who are good, they don't fake it. They don't fake it. I've watched Peter Obi, not for anything, I've watched him with keen interest. I've discovered that he's not faking it. Kenneth Okonkwo came up with certain narratives. I kept quiet because I still want to address that as an individual topic or video. I like buying people excuses. When Kenneth Okonkwo first started the narrative of Peter Obi not being able to secure his vote, I felt that he had a point. He had a point that if you merited something and you deserved that thing and it's rightfully yours and someone is trying to forcefully take it away from you, you should assert yourself and not cry like a helpless child until they take that stuff. At least you should put up a fight. Assert your rights to take those things back, which is a valid point. But his recent narratives is deadly, where he mocked up Peter Obi with Atiku and Tinubu and said they should all disappear. On what grounds is he saying Peter Obi should disappear? On what grounds? Truly, we need young people, but Peter Obi is the kind of leader who will mentor young people, who will hold their hands and bring them into leadership. He is the transition, the face, the connection between the conventional politics and the new politics or the new Nigeria we want. Nobody just comes up and drops a thing abruptly. You lay it down. What we are doing now is to lay down the country we want and make it land and give it the footing through this man. Believe me, if Peter Obi comes into power after him, there's never going to be the usuals. So when he first granted the interview with Sheon about how Peter Obi didn't push to take up his place or the mandate given to him by the Nigerian people, I felt he had a point. But the moment I watched him go on and on, in each of his interviews these days, he sings the same song, Peter Obi should step aside. On what grounds? Is he no longer credible? Is he no longer competent? Is he no longer everything you spoke about defending him? That is one thing about laying hands suddenly on people. Don't just take people up for their first impressions, just for their first impressions. Why I make this statement is considering the way Kenneth Okonkwo came in to speak for Peter Obi. Kenneth Okonkwo suddenly became a spokesperson. He was in the euphoria of the emergence of the obedience movement, and one or two occasions in his drive, he spoke for Peter Obi, and on he continued. This is a guy who has an ambition, fine and good. There is nothing bad about having that ambition. But when you now try to displace people without coming out straight to say, this is my mission, this is my plan, then we'll begin to look at you in a different light. Declare your intentions to run for government. We will support you. Don't do it by destroying the next person. If you are interested in leadership, I believe that Kenneth Okonkwo has leadership potential. I believe that he can take up political offices. But I am totally against his new rhetorics, his new style. When he talks about, I've wondered what he wanted Obi to do. I also wanted a situation where after his first interview, he would not go on and on, because this is what happens with people who are unstable. That's immediately they leave you, they start saying a different thing. But do you know the strength of character? That no matter how angry you are, because at the moment I'm seeing Kenneth Okonkwo as an angry person. A man who gets angry and destroys things in the process lacks character. What has PO done to Kenneth Okonkwo that is getting him so infuriated, so angry, that he's so willing to also destroy something he has had to build? I will still appeal to him to shoot his son, because with the series of outbursts that I had from him after people criticized him, I began to feel that I might not be able to vouch for this guy. So I don't know what will come next. I don't know what he will do next. Otherwise, I would have kept defending him. When I heard him lash out on his colleague, Bakassi, I felt that this is not called for. He can't even stand the pressure of leadership. People who are forceful, like Kenneth Okonkwo, they lose it easily. And when we begin to see dictatorial tendencies, we will talk. So outside the talk, what next? Make Kenneth go engage with DSS and the courts that they are using against the Nigerian people. By the time we see his progress, we will line solidly behind him and jettison Obi, the link for the next or the Nigeria we want. It is still in the interest of Kenneth Okonkwo not to keep pushing it. Don't push it, please, brother. Don't. You have aired your view about what you think, and I think you're right, but you're not right in the following behaviors that we are seeing. Please, I'm appealing to you not to toe the path of Abure. I'm appealing to you to hold it. Deal with bitterness, deal with anger, deal with the disappointments, and let's keep fighting for the Nigeria we want. You asserted yourself in our hearts, and if you misbehave, it is still with the same strength. You will jump out of our hearts. Power lies with the people, and when one man begins to misbehave around the people, he will lose relevance. Abure has totally lost relevance. It could have been to his best interest to keep staying on and honorably handing power. He will still be relevance.